Hi everybody, it's Brooke from Quagensia, and in this video I will show you how to add an ATR-based profit target to the WinBar update section of a pre-existing point-and-click strategy for NinjaTrader without code in Quagensia N Edition. We will recreate the logic in this strategy called Bollinger Bands Long Entry on Breakout Above Upper Band with ATR-Based Profit Target by starting with a copy of this strategy called Bollinger Bands Long Entry on Breakout Above Upper Band with ATR-Based Stop Loss, because the ATR-Based Profit Target strategy is almost identical to the ATR-Based Stop Loss strategy, and I just made a very detailed 55-minute video on the ATR-Based Stop Loss strategy, which you can watch by opening the Bollinger Bands Long Entry on Breakout Above Upper Band with ATR-Based Stop Loss strategy by clicking on it and choosing View Strategy, then scrolling to its strategy homepage and clicking on the link here. When you do that, it will take you to the web page for this strategy on the Quagensia.com website. And here you have the Bollinger Bands Long Entry on Breakout Above Upper Band with ATR-Based Stop Loss. And if you scroll down a little, you will see the link to the video on YouTube called Adding an ATR-Based Stop Loss to WinBar Updates of a No-Code Strategy for NinjaTrader with Quagensia. And here is the 55-minute full video. This video will move a lot faster than the 55-minute ATR-based stop loss video because it's not going to cover all of the details again. It will just cover the differences between the ATR-based profit target strategy and the ATR-based stop loss strategy, and how you can create the ATR-based profit target strategy from an ATR-based stop loss strategy. Let's get started. So in Quagensia N Edition, I'm going to close out this ATR-based stop loss strategy I was showing you. And let's go ahead and create a copy of the Bollinger Bands Long Entry on Breakout Above Upper Band with ATR-Based Stop Loss strategy by clicking on it and choosing Create New Strategy from Copy of this strategy. I will move the splitter bar to the left to make room. And let's go ahead and move the ATR-based profit target strategy, which we are attempting to make a copy of, by clicking on the gear icon in its tab and choosing Move this Algos tab to the tab group in column 2 of the upper row. So now what we have is the Bollinger Bands Long Entry on Breakout Above Upper Band with ATR-based Profit Target strategy on the right, with the profit target in the WinBar update section, and over in the left pane we have a copy of the Bollinger Bands Long Entry on Breakout Above Upper Band with ATR-based Stop Loss, and it still has the set stop loss function call in the WinBar update section. So we're going to go ahead and change the strategy on the left to match the strategy on the right by making the minimum of changes. So scrolling up, we'll go section by section. Let's name this copy of the ATR-based stop loss strategy to make it our own. So make it my Bollinger Bands Long Entry on Breakout Above Upper Band with ATR-based Stop Loss. Well, we're making the profit target strategy, so. All right, so, and then for the name of the file and folder on disk and the name in NinjaTrader, we will change it to my Bull Band LE on BO Above Upper Band with ATR Profit Target. Scrolling down to the input parameter section, so as I mentioned previously, these strategies are almost identical. So what we want is a Boolean true or false input parameter called useProfitTarget with a default of true, and a profit target number of 14-day ATRs, that is a decimal number, input parameter with a default of 5. Over here, we have parallel input parameters. It's called useStopLoss Let's just change it to use profit target. And the default is true. We're done. And then the name of the input parameter that we want for this fourth input parameter is profit target number of 14-day ATRs. Here it's called stop loss number of 14-day ATRs. So just paste over that. And for our default, we want a default of 5 ATRs for the profit target. And here we have a default of 1.5, so we'll change it to 5. And that is all we had to do to change the input parameters section to match the ATR-based profit target strategy over here. So let's do the same thing for the internal variable section. So scrolling down to the internal variable section, both strategies have a Bollinger Bands indicator, and they're the same except for the colors of their upper, middle, and lower band plots. There's no reason to change those. There's no functional difference. So let's scroll down to the last internal variable. So there is one small difference here, which is the ATR-based profit target strategy has a 14-period average true range, or ATR indicator, as does the ATR-based stop loss strategy that we had copied from initially. Both are the same, except that this one is called 14-day ATR for profit target, and this one is called 14-day ATR for stop loss. So we'll just go ahead and paste over that variable name. And they differ by colors, but that doesn't matter. So that's it. So now they have the same internal variables. So let's go ahead and scroll down to the WinBar updates section, which has the substantial changes, but still not much. So first of all, both strategies enter a long position when we are flat and when the close crosses above the upper band of the Bollinger Bands indicator while the close is going up. Furthermore, only if the use profit target input parameter, whose name we've already changed, if it is set to true by virtue of its checkbox being checked in the NinjaTrader user interface, then, in this case, we will set a stop loss, but what we want to do instead is set a profit target. But before we do that, I want to point out the comment in code in the profit target strategy. I'm going to go ahead and copy the comment from the profit target strategy and paste it over the one for the stop loss strategy. So I just want to point out that if you want to learn more about money management, you can copy and paste this URL into a browser, and then you can read this article on our website. It's in our help section. And furthermore, there is a note here that you should read the Set Profit Target article on NinjaTrader's official help site to learn about the Set Profit Target function built into NinjaTrader, which is what Quagensia N Edition uses for its Set Profit Target function. So here's the help page on the NinjaTrader website. And there's some important notes, and there are some important tips, and I recommend that you read those. So back to Quagensia N Edition. Our goal is to get the set profit target function from here over here. So let's go ahead and we'll keep the set stop loss function for now just to use as a reference, and we'll click on it and choose Add Item Before Me. And in addition to the Submit and Order folder, which has things like Enter Long, Enter Short, Exit Long, Exit Short, in Quagensia N Edition, we also support money management functions in the WinBar Updates section. So under the Money Management folder, right below the Submit an Order folder, there are choices for stop loss orders, trailing stops, and profit targets. And furthermore, under profit targets, there's two choices. The set profit target by entry signal name can be used if you want to scale into a position and then use a different profit target calculation for each of your entries. But for now, we just have a single entry, so we will use the set profit target for entire position. Click on it. And first of all, notice that the set profit target over here, the calculation mode is currency, as it is for the set stop loss. But here, by default, the calculation mode of the function we just added is %. Let's go ahead and change it to currency. And also, notice that it doesn't just say currency. The calculation mode actually says currency. Stop and target handling must be set to per strategy position. So the place that you can set the stop and target handling to per strategy position is in the strategy details section up here. So here's the top of the strategy file, and just scroll down past the strategy summary to the strategy details section. And you will notice a drop-down list next to the label stop and target handling. And in this case, it's already set to per strategy position. But if you were to create your own strategy, it might be defaulted to per entry execution, which says ignored by some brokers and when calculation mode is currency, which is what we are using in our set profit target. So if you do have a strategy whose stop and target handling is set to per entry execution, you should change it to per strategy position, just like the drop-down list here under calculation mode says to do. Currency, stop and target handling must be set to per strategy position. Now let's change the calculation value of our set profit target function to match the calculation over here. The easy way to do this would be to copy from here into here, but I want to show you how to do it from scratch. So let's go ahead and delete this set stop loss function, so we don't have it to use. And now let's talk about this calculation for a minute. So what this calculation says is to calculate the calculation value for the set profit target function in units of currency. Because our calculation mode is currency, we want to calculate a number of points away from our average fill price at which to place the profit target, and then multiply it by the point value, or the dollars per point of our instrument. So for stocks, it'd be $1, and for, say, the E-mini, it would be $50, and then multiply that number by the number of contracts or number of shares that we are trading. So what this does is the first two here calculate a number of points away from our average fill price, and then this converts the number of points into a number of dollars or a certain amount of currency per share or contract, and then this is multiplied by our order quantity. So let's go ahead and do that over here. So first off, we want our profit target number of 14-day ATRs input parameter, which defaults to 5, as we've set it. And let's multiply this by the current bar of the 14-day ATR for profit target internal variable, which is the value, the current value of the ATR indicator that we set up here, the ATR. So to set that, let's go ahead and go to Input Parameters and Internal Variables. Internal Variables, and there it is, 14-day ATR for profit target, an item in the time series. And the item is the current bar or the current value of the ATR. So already this is too wide. So let's go ahead and just make the multiplication go top down. So click here and say align these items vertically instead of horizontally. So now they're vertically aligned like you see over here. It just looks better. And if we made all four terms go left to right, it'd be pretty wide. So now let's go ahead and find the point value. Now point value, you can think of it as metadata about the price series, not an open, high, low, or close price, but data about the instrument in general. So to find that, we will first make another multiplication and then choose replace item, price data, and then instead of choosing open, high, low, close, or volume, we will go down here to price bar metadata. And in the price bar metadata folder, you'll see things like point value and tick size. Let's go ahead and choose point value. And finally, we have to multiply by the default order quantity. So to find default order quantity, we can find it in search. So click here. And under replace item, in the search text box, search for order quantity. So there it is, default order quantity, and we could have found it in the context menu under more expressions, order fills and positions, order info, and there would be default order quantity. But for now, let's just click on it here in search and choose add this function to your algo at the location you specified. And there it is. We have now replicated the set profit target function from the strategy we are attempting to copy into our strategy. So what's left? So at this point, we have set the profit target. Okay, so the next thing is we want to draw text. We want to put some text on the chart that is 1% above the high of the entry signal bar. And we want to have the phrase profit target in points, PT in points, and then appended to it, we want to have the profit target in number of points, which, as you know, is the input parameter called profit target number of 14-day ATRs, which defaults to 5, multiplied by the 14-period ATR, the current price of it, the current value of it. And that is the number of points. And when you draw that on the chart and you show the number, you can quickly see on a chart that the vertical distance from the average fill price to the value printed out next to PT in points is in fact where the profit target will be set. So to do this, because we already changed the input parameter name to profit target instead of stop loss, and we changed the ATR indicator name from stop loss to profit target, all we have to do here is just change the word SL to PT. And that's it. And if you want to learn more about this convert decimal to text, which allows you to draw good-looking, good formatted text with only 4 decimal places instead of many on the chart, then you can watch the video that we talked about earlier here. It's the one for the Bollinger Bands Long Entry on Breakout Above Upper Band with ATR-Based Stop Loss. And this 55-minute video includes a talk about rounding to print out numbers with less decimal places than the maximum. Okay, well that's all the code, I think. So let's go ahead and scroll down. And then we want to enter a long position using a market order. That's done. And then print to the output window, and then set a background color for the entry bar, or the entry signal bar, I should say. The entry bar is the bar after the signal bar. And then here are our exit conditions, which are the same, which says if we are currently long and the close crosses below the middle line of the Bollinger Band, then exit the entire long position using a market order with a signal name of LX, which you will see on the chart. And this exit only happens if the profit target doesn't get hit first. And then we will print the close price of the exit signal bar to the output window and then set a background color of the exit signal bar. And a final point is, notice we did not use the money management section, even though you might have thought, hey, why didn't we just click here and say money management, profit targets, and go there? Because you saw we had to do this calculation up here to calculate the profit target. Well, the calculation we had to do needed the current bar of the 14-day ATR, which you do not know in the money management section, because this section is executed when the strategy is initialized, not on every bar or every tick. So if you want access to open, high, low, and close prices, and if you want access to indicator values, you cannot add your money management down here, because this money management section only is executed before your strategy has access to each bar or each tick. So that is actually why we added our set profit target function to the WinBar updates section, because we needed access to the 14-day ATR indicators values on each bar or each tick. So yeah, that's it. We just finished creating our profit target strategy based on a number of ATRs. So let's go ahead and save our strategy. We'll save it to the My Algos folder here by clicking this or pressing Control S. My bull bandwidth sounds good. Okay, so we're saving it to My Algos folder. And there it is. My Bollinger Bands Long Entry on Breakout Above Upper Band with ATR-Based Profit Target. So we are now ready to send it to NinjaTrader. But first, let's open NinjaTrader. Make sure we are connected to the Kinetic end-of-day free market data. We are. And let's open the NinjaScript editor window so that NinjaTrader will automatically compile our strategy so that it can be immediately back-tested and used on live charts. So we're ready. So just click on the Generate Code and Copy Code File to NinjaTrader Strategy Code Folder button. And in a second, we will hear the sound of success. There it was. So NinjaTrader has now automatically compiled our strategy that we sent it, and it is ready to be back-tested, optimized, and applied to live charts. So back in NinjaTrader, let's go ahead and open the strategy analyzer, which is NinjaTrader's backtester. And let's choose, it's already chosen, Q My Bull Band LE on BO above upper band with ATR profit target. We just made that. We'll use a Bollinger Band period at 26. A Bollinger Band number of standard deviations, we'll keep it 2. We will use a profit target this time by letting this checkbox stay checked, but we could uncheck it to not use profit targets, or we could check it to use profit targets because we implemented that logic in our strategy. And for the profit target number of 14-day ATRs, let's keep it at 5. And we'll backtest over GLD, daily bars. Let's go back to 2005, so a little over 18 years. Two ticks of slippage, that looks good. Let's go ahead and run the backtest. Great, so a profit factor of 1.44. Let's take a look at the chart. So we can see the very first trade here entered on a breach of the close price above the upper band of the Bollinger Bands indicator. The signal bar is here. This is where it breached. And then a market order was placed and filled on the open of the next bar in the backtest. And in this case, we didn't make money. In this case, the profit target's way up here. The profit CPT in points is 7.9 points above the average fill price at somewhere up here. But instead, the market went down and we exited on a cross below the middle line of the Bollinger Bands indicator. The close crossed below on this peach colored background here on this bar. And then we had a market order filled on the bar after it, this little green bar. Okay, so the next one, again, we had a cross above and it entered and we didn't hit our profit target. Okay, here's a good example of a profit target. So the third trade from the last, it's close crossed above the upper band of the Bollinger Bands indicator here. We had a market order filled on the open of this little red bar. And then we were immediately in profit. And instead of getting filled when the price kept going and closed below the middle line here, we locked in a profit with our profit target right up here on this green bar. So right here, we see PT in points, or profit target in points, is 10.0879. Had we not done the rounding that I was telling you about in that 55-minute video, instead of seeing 10.079, you'd see many more decimal places after it. So this looks better. Okay, so we draw on the chart the number of points above, and let's see if it makes sense. So we can see here that the average fill price was 177.37, and the profit target is at 187.46, which is about 10.09 difference. And here we can see the profit in points is, yeah, it's 10.087, or rounded is 10.09. So yeah, so it makes sense that our calculation of adding 10 points to this fill price to be about here, that there was actually a profit target there and it was filled. Down here, this fuchsia or hot pink indicator is our 14-period ATR indicator. And just note that when we have this profit target number of 14-day ATRs of 5, this 5 is multiplied by the value of the ATR indicator down here. And the ATR indicator is a volatility indicator, which is sometimes higher, at which point, like on this entry here, the ATR is pretty high. So 5 is multiplied by the value of the ATR here. And sometimes the ATR is lower, like it is here. So for this entry bar, 5 times a lower value for the ATR meant we had a smaller profit target in points of only 7.9, whereas here when the ATR was higher, we had a profit target in points of 11.4. So that is how we sometimes have a profit target in points less than or greater than other times. We make the profit target in points proportional to the volatility as determined by the 14-period ATR. So let's run a quick back test where we actually turn off profit target in points. So here we have a profit target in points. And let's go back to our summary. We had a profit factor of 1.44 with the profit targets. Let's remember that. And let's remember that the third trade from the last was a profit target. You're going to see now that when you uncheck the use profit target checkbox in NinjaTrader and then rerun the back test, now the trade here, this used to have got filled way up here on this green bar with a profit target, but now since we unchecked the checkbox, we are not using profit targets. So the only way that this strategy exits is now via cross below the middle line of the Bollinger Bands indicator. So in this case, we could have made a larger profit by being filled around here, but instead we followed the price here and got filled down here. And switching over to the summary of the backtest without the profit targets, the profit factor in this case was 1.40, and if you remember, the profit factor when we used profit targets was 1.44. So in this particular case, it was a little better to use profit targets. Now let's run a quick optimization of our strategy. One of the great things about NinjaTrader is, in addition to allowing us to optimize over numeric input parameters, it also allows us to optimize over Boolean true or false input parameters, so we can actually run optimizations where half of the backtest runs have a use profit target of true and half with a use profit target of false. So half of our backtest runs will use a profit target and half will not. So to run an optimization, change the backtest type to optimization. We can optimize the Bollinger Band period from 12 to 60. Let's not optimize Bull Band number of standard deviations this time. And for the use profit target, instead of using a value of true or false for every backtest run in our optimization, let's choose optimize. So half of the backtest runs will use profit targets and half will not. And then for profit target number of 14-day ATRs, let's vary it from 2 to 10, step 1. Everything else looks good, so let's go ahead and run the optimization. It is running 882 backtest runs. I'm not speeding this up. It looks like it took a total of about 10 seconds to finish. And there we go. Let's look at the top 10 results. So the performance, which is the same thing as the profit factor, ranged from 2.95 to down to 2.47 for the top 10 optimization runs. And let's look at what parameter sets were the best. So putting our mouse pointer over the parameters field, we see that the best result had a Bollinger Band period of 57, a number of standard deviations of 2, we didn't vary that, and it used profit targets, and the profit target number of 14-day ATRs was 7, so higher than our default of 5. So looking at the top 10, what I see is, of the top 10, only 1 didn't use profit targets. The top 9 all used profit targets. Furthermore, our initial Bollinger Band period value of 26 was a bit low. It looks like the best Bollinger Band periods were in the 50s and up to 60. There's one here that's 15, but it's an outlier. And furthermore, it looks like the number of ATRs with which to place our profit target away from the average fill price ranged from 4 to 10, so we were pretty close on the 5. That's all I'm going to say about the optimization results. The point of this video was to show you how to add an ATR-based profit target to a pre-existing point-and-click strategy for NinjaTrader without code in Quagensia N Edition. We started with a copy of the Bollinger Bands Long Entry on Breakout Above Upper Band with ATR-Based Stop Loss strategy, and we replicated the logic in the Bollinger Bands Long Entry on Breakout Above Upper Band with ATR-Based Profit Target strategy. And all we really had to change was we just changed the names of 2 input parameters. We changed the name of the average true range indicator. So we're just changing the names, stop loss to profit target. We just changed the comment to be for the profit targets and not for stop losses by copying and pasting. And then we deleted the set stop loss money management function and added a set profit target money management function and built the calculation for converting the number of points away from the average fill price for the profit target and converted it into a currency value for the number of shares or contracts we were trading. And our last change was to change the message that is printed 1% above each entry signal bar on the chart from SL endpoints or stop loss endpoints to PT endpoints or profit target endpoints. So that's it. The only thing I'll leave you with is I do recommend that you watch the 55-minute video that you can access by opening this strategy called Bollinger Bands Long Entry on Breakout Above Upper Band with ATR-Based Stop Loss. And it's basically a longer version of this video with more details, but instead of setting a profit target, it sets a stop loss, and you can watch it right here. Finally, I recommend checking out this strategy called Bollinger Bands Long Entry on Breakout Above Upper Band with ATR-Based Trailing Stop. It is almost identical to the stop loss and profit target variants of the strategy, except the trailing stop is calculated in ticks instead of in currency of the total order quantity. So to see that, here's the set trailing stop from this strategy. And notice how the calculation mode is ticks instead of currency, because the set trailing stop function does not have a choice for currency. And you'll notice that we are dividing the number of points by the tick size instead of multiplying the number of points by the point value in currency or dollars of a single point, and then multiplying that by the number of shares or contracts you are trading. So the reason why we divide by tick size is we first calculate the number of points, and then we divide it by the size of a tick in points. So for a stock, a tick is 0.01 points, or 1/100th of a point. So if we have, let's say we have a 2-point trailing stop, we divide by 0.01, the tick size, for a total number of ticks for the trailing stop of 200. That's the end of our video. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, please let us know by giving this video a like and subscribing to our channel. And if you loved it, please consider sharing this video. Have a great day.